Hi, and welcome to Abundance. And today I'm going to give you 6 tips on how to make your bike fit you better. So let's get this started. We will shift our focus to 3 areas on the bike: the stem of your bike, the handlebar, and your seat. Not really seat, saddle. And all of those tips are very cost effective. Either they are for free, 3 of them are for free. And for the other 3, well, separately, the starting price starts at around €10, maybe €20. Of course, you can spend a lot, as with anything bicycle, but usually between €20 to €50. And before we fully dive into it, a small asterisk here: I am not a bike fitter, I'm not a bike expert. Those are just tips that I found to be useful in my bicycle journey. I bought a too big bike for myself, and those things helped me to make it fit a little bit better to my body and my riding style. So if you still didn't purchase your first bike, well, get a bike fit. That's even better than watching this video. Or even if you already have a bike fit is awesome, because then you can really find out what are the exact measures and dimensions you need for your bike to fit your body. Even so, hopefully this video will help you a little bit to make your riding a little bit more comfortable. So let's get into it. Now the first tip is regarding your handlebar, and that is how your brake and your shifters are placed on the bar. So sometimes if you get a bike right out of the box, the shifters will be too high up, and that might lead to a lot of strain here in your wrists. And if you have a bike that has dropper handlebars, then you can also adjust where your hoods are and how they are placed on your handlebar. So just adjusting your brakes and your shifters with a simple Allen key might alleviate a lot of pain when riding. You can also adjust your handlebar angle, and there is always a nifty sort of diagram, I guess, to show you the angle of your handlebar and making sure that it's exactly in the middle. Here on this bike I have it looking like that, and on my Marin bike it's even a little bit more precise. The second tip is a sort of 2-in-1 tip, but you will need to pay for it, or you will need to have the tooling for it. Well, first of all, you can narrow down your handlebar. Most mountain bikes have a very wide handlebar, and there you can even see where you need to cut them in order to make them a bit narrower, and they are still symmetrical there. And that's what I did on this Marin bike. It had very wide handlebars, and I just don't need so wide handlebars because I don't do like super hardcore off-roading on it. So just to be a little bit more aero, to be a little bit narrower on the bike path, I just shrunken it down, and now it fits me a lot better. Usually you can either do it with a pipe cutter, or you can go to a bicycle repair shop and they will do it for, I don't know, 10 to 20 bucks. You can also buy a totally new handlebar for your bike. You can have one with a riser, so you have your handlebar up higher, or you can have a wider one, a different shape. You can have a back sweep, so the handlebar is closer to your body. Just remember what your stem diameter is. For most mountain bikes, and in general most bikes, it's 31.8, and then you can just buy a new handlebar. Small asterisk here: it's not that easy to change from a flat bar to a drop bar, because your gear set might not be compatible with your levers and your brakes. So if you want to change to drop bars, well then it's probably best to invest in a new bike altogether. Tip number 3 is adjusting your stem height. So here you can see on my Marin bike I have those spacers, and if you unscrew the top here with a usual Allen key, then you can remove the stem and just place it higher up or lower up. So you can have it lower for a more aggressive riding stance, or you can have it higher up for a more sort of city-oriented upright setup. So yeah, just by changing the height of your stem here for free, you can just adjust the comfort of your ride. The fourth point is a big one, and that is changing your stem altogether. So you can see that here I have a much shorter stem than I had originally on my Marin bike, and thanks to that, my handlebar is a lot closer. And yet still, this bike is a little bit too big for me. I didn't get a bike fit before, so well, I'm stuck with an L, but probably I need a S or an M. With that said, by changing your stem, you can drastically improve the ergonomics of your bike. With that said, this will also change the geometry of the bike and therefore the handling. And the selection there is pretty much endless. From short stems that will, make the reach a bit shorter for when you're riding the bike, to just stems that make your stem altogether higher, so you are more in a sort of city position, you're more upright, to ones that are adjustable, so you can try to just find the right angle for when you ride, and then keep it. But those will be a little bit less durable, and they might have a little bit more play in them than those ones. I mean, those ones. For example, my triathlon's bike had a very low stem, so the position wasn't that comfortable as it should be for triathlons. It's designed to be more aero, but I still love the, the monkey bars and the shifters here. So I just use this bike more in a city setting, and therefore I put a stem with a riser onto this bike. Much better now. And even if you've already decided on selling your bike, you can still try to ride it with a shorter stem in order to make it a little bit more comfortable for the time until you actually sell it. Or you can also select, of course, a longer stem if you feel like your bike is too small for you. I do have to say that changing the stem was one of the biggest game changers for me when riding a bike. The fifth thing you can do is you can either change your saddle for a more comfortable one, but please don't buy those like covers. They're absolutely useless. They don't help like pretty much at all for your ride comfort. Or you can buy cycling bibs. Now, I was resisting those cycling pants that have a gel sort of insert for a long time, but after I tried it, wow, it's absolutely amazing. So if you're still resisting, don't just try it and ride it. Important thing there is just don't wear any underwear under your cycling bibs. Now, a bike fit would help a lot with choosing the right saddle for you too, but if you don't have a bike fit available or if you can't make it, then there's just some simple tips. Maybe there's some other videos on it, how to select your seat. Some are more geared towards, racing and more to the leaning forward position, and some of them are sort of wider, and then you can just sit on it more comfortably in a upright position. But sometimes you don't even have to change your seats at all. Which brings me to number 6, and that is perhaps the most useful free tip that I can give you, and that is adjusting your seat angle and your seat position, of course, your seat height. Now, with the seat height, I can't tell you too much. I don't really know what the general rules for it are, of like how tall the seat should be. For me, it was usually just a matter of comfort and not fully stretching my legs out. But when it comes to the seat position, well, I just didn't anticipate that there's so many options on bicycle seats. So depending on the seat you have, you'll either have just one screw here on the bottom, or you'll have some sort of hex screw that you need to loosen somewhere in order to make those rails go loose. And then you can move this whole rail forwards or backwards. I will actually go ahead and try put it a little bit more forward in order to be a little bit closer to the handlebars. And for my riding style, which also includes those monkey bars, I often lean forwards. So I tilted the seat like this way, so the front is a little bit lower than the back, and this is a lot more comfortable for me to be in this position where I lean against the monkey bars. And in general, I just like the seat to be tilted this way. It's just more comfortable for me. So if you have too much stress on your crotch, then point it down. If you feel like you're constantly falling forwards, then point it up. Really, putting your saddle forwards and back, not really seat, saddle, is one of the best adjustments on the bike. Also, when you're riding, make sure to actually sit on the saddle and not on the front portion of it. Usually we tend to slide down, slide forwards when we're riding, and that might just cause discomfort. Make sure that your hip bones are actually on the saddle part of your saddle. I don't want the rear part of your saddle. That was an issue for me initially. So these were my 6 tips on how to make your bike a little bit more comfortable for you, how to make it more ergonomical. Let me know if you knew about any of those tips. Let me know if you tried them out and if they helped you at all. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video.